Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone podcast, episode number 713, not unlucky for me or you, for the 5th of June 2022. Richard Saunders coming to you from windy, cold, sunny, cloudy, no rain today, Sydney, Australia. Coming up on this week's show, join me and skeptical friend Daryl Cahoon as we once more venture into the craziness, the bizarre world of Mind Body Wallet, otherwise known as Mind Body Spirit, the frequent New Age festival fair and marketing opportunity here in Sydney. And it's a bit of a travelling circus. It'll pop up in other capital cities around the country as well. Mind Body Wallet, once again, what do we discover this year? No end of crystals, psychics, and so on. Following that, it's the Australian Skeptics newsletter by Tim Mendham, read as per normal, except when she doesn't do it, by Adrian Hill in Canada. The other week we had her son Troy Hill reading it, and he did very well. We'll have him back again, I hope. Then to round off the show, it's our Trove segment looking at digital archives of newspapers. And this week, a very strange report from some time ago about a school, a lesson, a learning opportunity for students to learn all about water divining. And a big shout out to those people who are not feeling so well, who are recovering from not only COVID, but from colds and flus and everything like that. The flu season this year is not kind to anybody. So if you've been under the weather lately, you know I'm thinking about you. Get well soon. But now it's time for me to run downstairs, carefully and quietly open the fridge, because as soon as I go anywhere near the fridge, I have got two cats suddenly appear at my feet as if by magic, and make myself some scrambled eggs on toast while I do that. I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. In late May 2022, I, together with supporter and listener Daryl Cahoon, ventured once more unto the breach, once more unto the spirit of Mind Body Wallet, or of course as it's officially known, Mind Body Spirit. Now, long-time listeners well know that this is something I've been doing for many years. Every time I have the opportunity, I will go to a New Age festival, walk around, see what's on display, and most importantly, ask questions. Now, to be honest, over the years, I've learned a certain amount of things about what's on offer, and maybe more importantly about human psychology. But one of the main motivations of going back again and again and again is to keep an eye out for obvious shonks, scams, cons, and dangerous health products. Now, in the past, I've come across stalls selling devices which promised to turn tap water into sunblock, for example, or people claiming their potion can cure cancer, or indeed magical machines based on headphones and laptops which could not only diagnose your bodily conditions down to the level of DNA, but also send zapping vibrations back through those headphones to zap viruses and bugs, and make homeopathic preparation while you wait. And indeed, that particular device, that particular machine, I've seen in years past wasn't there this time around. I read from the official handbook, the guide given to us for free when we entered Mind Body Spirit. Welcome to the Sydney Mind Body Spirit Festival. And by the way, they write Mind Body Spirit as one word. We're thrilled to embark on the year 2022 with you and can't wait for you to enjoy everything we have to offer for the next 3 days of self-love, well-being, health, and spirituality. From our magnificent stage performers, guest speakers fulfilling seminars, to shopping, psychic readings, and natural therapies, we know you'll enjoy all of the festivities. The festival cannot exist without you. To our beautiful visitors, exhibitors, guest speakers, and performers, we thank you for being an ongoing part of our incredible festival family. With love, the MBS Festival Team, XX Heart. And it goes on to say, main stage, performers, artists, musicians, psychic mediums, and dancers. It's all here at the main stage. Seminar room and speakers lounge. Be inspired. Whether you're looking for some health tips, well-being advice, self-improvement, or guidance, you'll hear from some incredible guest speakers in the seminar room. Soul Kitchen. Health foodies rejoice. Learn how to detox, cook for your body, look after your health, and so much more. Whether you're a master chef or disaster chef, the Soul Kitchen stage will help flourish and nourish. And of course, Psychic Reading Room, looking for that insight into your future? From love, relationships, career, or finances, hear from the best in tarot, clairvoyance, mediums, and astrologers, and more. Avoid disappointment by booking your 25 or 50-minute session at the reading room as soon as you arrive. Please note, this is a cash-only experience. ATMs are located throughout the festival. Well, that's handy. And some of these sessions that were available in the seminar room, for example, over the 4 days of Mind, Body, Wallet. Build your empire from the inside out. How to merge spirituality and business. Or we have another session, Insights and Healing through Past Life Regression. Spirit Show, how to connect to your guide and angel helpers. There was also Explaining the Law of Attraction. Or how about how to receive signs from the universe. And there was a lucky door prize. Valued at over $1,500, win a master set of aromatherapy essential oils. So with all that enticement, how could I resist going? I caught up with Daryl Cahoon as we made our way to the festival. It's Sunday, the 29th of May, 2022. I'm down here at Darling Harbour in Sydney. I just caught the tram, the light rail system in, and blow me down. Who did I bump into on the tram? It's Daryl Cahoon. Hello, Daryl.
G'day. Hi there, Richard.
And, well, I mean, it's not a surprise I bumped into you because we've agreed to meet up here today because we're off. Oh, yes, we're off to Mind, Body, Spirit, or as we love to call it, Mind, Body, Wallet. The every 6 months it comes around, and you and I usually meet up here.
We often do, yes. And see what's new, see what's old.
Well, lots of, yeah. That's actually, you make a good point, because over the years I've been coming to this Spirit Festival of psychics and questionable products, to say the least. I often think of that line from Star Wars, you know, Obi-Wan, when looking at Mos Eisley. You remember that? He says, you'll never find a now I can't remember the line. Something about scum and villainy, and a hive of scum and villainy. He says something like that. Maybe I'm being a bit mean. There are a lot of good-hearted people there, but there are certainly some shonks and cranks, I think.
There are some shonks and cranks. And I particularly remember the stall from last year that was selling an image of the moon, was it, or the sky at the date of your, at any nominated date. Perfectly legitimate, perfectly respectable for somebody who wants such a thing. And they're not alone. Some of the stuff they sell there is perfectly reasonable, respectable material.
I've over the years there, I've purchased a lot of things like lovely hot sauces. For some reason they tend to be there, or products every now and then which are fun and good and interesting, but they're interspersed with, every year, people who either know full well the medical claims they're making are bogus, or people who sincerely really think, because they've been told by the guru or the mystic or the guy in California who's been flogging this potion, that it really works. And I'm sure that's exactly what we'll find again today.
I think we will. Yep. California, they seem to be. That's where they come from.
It's a wonderful day here in Darling Harbour. We're just walking down the harbour side. Lots of new buildings. That's the new building, that huge giant building with a W on it. That used to be where the IMAX was.
Yeah, big curvy building.
I think it's a hotel now.
To explore it later and find out what it...
Well, it's not open yet, but a new IMAX is going there. We're just passing a giant Ferris wheel here. There are people sort of wandering around. It's a great day to be out and about. Anyway, we'll go around the corner down beside the water here, and we'll dive into Mind Body Wallet, and who knows what we'll find.
Who knows? Make sure my wallet is charged.
We made our way to the convention centre, only to discover a long queue of people waiting to get in. Once through the door, we were presented with the wonder that is mind, body, spirit. Although this year, not as big as previous years. We made our way up the first row of stalls. So Daryl and I are actually in the Mind Body Wallet. We've got our masks on and we've gone down one aisle and we've seen crystals, we've seen hemp products, we've seen people supporting breast cancer, which is a good thing. There's always good things here. And you and I are masked up, as we should be, but do you see anybody now in the 150 people we can gaze at one blink wearing a mask? No. Obviously, COVID's not going to enter Mind Body Wallet. What do you think? The ratio to men to women here would be what? 90% women, 10% men?
I don't know that it's true, actually. I'm kind of thinking.
Looking around?
There's more men than I had expected.
Maybe 80%?
Yeah, something like that.
And that's just a factual comment. It's just a statement of fact. I'm not going anywhere with that at the moment. The spiritual warrior, we've passed various psychic booths with...
We've got the world's most famous psychic.
The world's most famous psychic.
The world's most accurate psychic.
Let's keep walking down and see what we find here. Book a 30-minute healing session. Here, spiritual healer and mentor. Well, there you go. Change starts here. They're selling various soaps and candles. Massage chairs, which are always a good thing. We got outside wind decorations that sort of twirl and spin in the wind. That's nice. Something called the Spirit of Life. Peace, happiness, courage, love. That sounds all very good. A clothing store, which looks very nice indeed. Some lovely clothing there. Here's another psychic reading booth. Happy Science. They're the ones that...
That are not very scientific.
That's right. They're not very happy, unfortunately. What's this one now? Iron Vital Supplements. Daryl's just gone by to look at the aura and chakra scanning booth, and he's asking questions, which we found is the most effective thing you can do here. Simply go up to these booths selling magical nonsense and say, what does it do, how does it work? And then be entertained for 10 minutes while they try to explain how their nonsense works. We make our way through the crowded aisles. Of course, there were the usual products on offer. Good things, nice yummy foods, hot sauces, perfumes, interesting clothing, decorations for your garden, and some notable charities there represented too. Every year there's something a bit more bizarre than normal, or maybe it just fits within the normal parameters of bizarre. And this year's winner was a company called Coastal Clarity Quantum Healing from Queensland. And they were demonstrating the AO scanner. Now, as told to us from the representative at the stall, you speak into this device, which presumably is on an iPhone or an iPad or something like that. It records your voice, analyzes your voice to determine the 4 octaves or notes that are out of balance. It rebalances these notes, creates MP3 files to which you listen back. And quoting from the flyer given to us, AO scan programs, body systems. The body systems scan performs a complete and thorough scan of hundreds of blueprint frequencies associated with 13 body systems and performs an optimizing analysis. This scan complements the results provided in the vitals and comprehensive scans to specifically highlight body systems that need support. This scan generates a 27-page data report that includes specific analysis of each body system. Well, if that's not making health claims, then I don't know what it is. However, also on the flyers given to us is the following. Can these scans show us proof about conditions? The AO scan is not sold as a medical device and cannot be used to treat or cure any condition. It is, however, a great tool to find out more about your body and to help you understand your body better. It can reveal what protocol or therapy is more therapeutic and what mineral, vitamin, or supplement appears more effective than another. Please note, the AO Scan mobile device is not, in capital letters, a medical device and does not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. And the contact details list somebody here from the outfit as being a, quote, frequency specialist, end quote. Now, despite their disclaimers that this product is not a medical device and does not diagnose or treat or these sort of words, I think that any reasonable person looking at the device and hearing the sales pitch would have the exact opposite impression.
All right, Daryl. So we've come to the end. We've come to the very end. Okay, Mind Body Wallet back again. Lots of people here. Scarcely anybody wearing masks, but that's just like the trains in Sydney at the moment anyway. And, you know, the usual assortment of bizarre medical claims like we heard from whatever that place was, the frequency store, which I have the details about. We're all Did you know that we're all frequencies?
Yeah.
And you can record your voice and hear it back as an MP3 to put your frequencies back in balance.
In balance,
In
yes.
balance.
Yes.
Lots of crystals here. The Aura camera is an old favorite. So all in all, it's a regular Mind Body Wallet. We've got some paperwork to work through. But once again, Daryl, thank you for coming along.
Thank you.
It's always an interesting day out. And I still recommend it to anyone out there. If you have the chance, visit a New Age fair. And the best thing you can do is ask questions.
Ask questions. That's right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So that was Mind Body Wallet, Mind Body Spirit for another 6 months. Thanks to Daryl Cahoon for joining me on yet another wander through the craziness, the madness, the alternative universe of Mind Body Wallet.
Hello, this is Maynard. Did you know that you can listen to the Skeptic Zone on YouTube? Yes, I know, sounds crazy, but it's true. Also, you can hear 40 logical fallacies with Michelle Bickersma and funny sketches with Richard Saunders and a host of other skeptics. Just click on the YouTube links on the homepage at skepticzone.tv.
Hello everyone, this is Adrienne Hill from Canada, back to read the highlights from the Australian Skeptics newsletter. And I want to thank my son Troy for filling in for me the last time when my voice kept disappearing. I think, even though I'm biased because, I'm his mother, he did a wonderful job with his accents. Unfortunately, the only accent I can do is maple syrup Canadian. This is newsletter number 149. You can subscribe to this newsletter and get it delivered to your inbox every other week, complete with links to all the stories. Just visit www.skeptics.com.au. But now, let's get to the newsletter and see what Tim Mendham has lined up for us. Hi all! Now that the election is over, we've packed away the polling booths and the psychic animals have gone back to their normal lives. Although Pig the Dugong and Sparkles the Croc picked the winner, while Hugo the Galapagos turtle was a bit distracted by a female turtle named Estella, obviously a teal candidate. On to more important things like haunted houses, Yuri's aliens, and psychic coffins. Not to mention litigant naturopaths, racism pseudoscience, alt-med misinformation, and the usual contenders. And of course, the annual Skeptics Convention in Canberra in November, face to face. Read on, Tim. Okay, Tim. There's that Canadian accent. Skepticon 2022, November 26th to the 27th. We are happy to announce that the 2022 annual Australian Skeptics National Convention, Skepticon, for 2022 will be held at the National Library in Canberra on the weekend of November 26th through 27th. There will also be social events beforehand. Among the key speakers will be an international contingent made up of Claire Klingenberg, chair of the European Council of Skeptical Organizations and co-organizer of the Czech Paranormal Challenge, as well as the hosts of the European Skeptics Addicts, otherwise known as ESP. All being well, and in this day and age there are always the possibilities of changes, it will be the first face-to-face convention since 2019. We look forward to seeing you there. Further details and ticket sales will be available soon. GP, sued by naturopath, faces long road ahead. Melbourne doctor Adam Smith says he thought he was doing a community service by posting videos pointing out misinformation from a Filipino naturopath, now practicing in the US. But the result has been legal action to silence him, with possible fees in the hundreds of thousands. Australian Skeptics has been in conversation with him for some time. In the early days, he had hoped the matter would be resolved quickly in his favor. He has now set up a GoFundMe page to help out. Graphology is largely an urban myth. We think largely is an understatement. Graphology is, quote, the pseudoscience that claims to reveal personality traits through the analysis of the subject's handwriting, end quote. But, as the author says, neither your signature nor your handwriting says anything about your personality. For an interesting video on this topic, Google James Randi Graphology. Psychics in the courtroom. Oh dear. The blurb goes, quote, a parapsychologist expert explores paranormal aided investigations, court cases, and more, end quote. Problem is, he undermines most of the cases of paranormal assistance that he brings up. That's the only reason this story is up here, rather than in the section at the bottom. It's so weird to see someone undercut their own profession so consistently. You wonder if it's an elaborate joke, but we don't think it is. Congress taking UFOs more seriously, but questions remain. American politicians have a meeting to discuss unidentified flying objects or aerial phenomena. Among the fors and againsts comes the breathtaking observation, quote, few can argue that the public still has questions and much remains unexplained, end quote. Of course they're unexplained. That's pretty much what the U of UFO stands for. Items of interest. Creepy Essex home named the, quote, most haunted in England, end quote. But what a shame it burned down in 1938. Apparently, Borley Rectory is still haunted, even though it isn't there. And your author admits to a failed trek in his youth trying to find the place, not realizing it had gone long before. Scotland is, quote, most haunted country in world, end quote. Oh, Troy, where are you when I need you? Thumbing a supernatural nose at Borley Rectory comes the news that a paranormal expert says that Scotland leads the pack when it comes to gory hauntings. We have to trust her because she, quote, got into becoming a parapsychologist by seeking to apply scientific principles to anomalous phenomena. The further into quantum theory I worked, the more things like ghosts started to make sense." End quote. And there you go. Quantum, proof of everything. Aliens could invade Earth within the next 5 years, according to Geller. Yuri's been very active lately, what with predicting all sorts of approaching phenomena. The most recent is using, quote, remote viewing to send his mind through space and time to have a look at the aliens in action, end quote. Or maybe that should be, quote, aliens in action, end quote. Get it? Haha. Anyway, they'll be here soon, so keep a bag packed by the door. Psychic making personalized coffins for murdered kids. Oh dear. This could be seen as opportunism of the lowest kind, but self-professed medium Trey Ganem is donating customized coffins to the families of those killed in the horrific shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, in which 19 children died. He runs a customized coffin business and has promised to donate caskets decorated specifically for each murdered child. Among the designs he is featuring on the coffins are dinosaurs, butterflies, and scenes from popular TikTok videos. He claims to regularly communicate with the deceased while working on caskets, including victims of the Uvalde shooting, which is very, very sad. Well, that's all for now. And until next time, this has been Adrienne Hill from the land of waffles, mousse, and of course, maple syrup.
Carrie, is it?
Oh, yes. Hi, I'm Carrie.
I am Psychic Ross, and I will be reading you this evening.
Oh, interesting. Well, okay. I co-host a podcast. It's called Oh No, Ross and Carrie.
Yes, I'm sensing that. The spirits are telling me. It is a show about
Well, it's about
poodles.
like fringe science and
Yes,
spirituality and
that's
claims
correct.
of the paranormal.
And
you knew that.
You do research online.
But more importantly, like we do in-person investigations.
In-person investigate as well.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
See?
Me and my friend, this is so weird, my friend Ross, same name as you.
Weird.
He and I just go and try them all out. And actually, we've gone to a number of psychics. And to be honest with you, it's a lot like this. It's called Oh No, Ross and Carrie. They can find it at MaximumFun.org.
I could have told you that.
Now it's time once again to look into those archives, those digital newspaper, magazine, journal archives from around the world. Normally in Australia, we look for the Trove archive at trove.nla.gov.au, but sometimes, often, we go further afield. And today we're back once again in the United States and concentrating on one article this week. It's called Thirst for Wisdom. Now, this appeared in the Joplin Sunday Globe, dated May 13, 2001. And this is from Joplin, Missouri, United States. And this is all about water dowsing, or as we tend to call it here, divining. An interesting story, which includes a mention from James Randi. And the large picture that accompanies this story on the front page of the newspaper in question, the Joplin Globe, is of an elderly man instructing a young student, and the caption reads, Casey Ridenour, 11, of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, is being helped by Louis Matisha with the American Society of Dowsers. The group's central conference was recently held in Eureka Springs at the Crescent Hotel. Dowsing pupils seek answers from wand. Skeptics ask for proof. By Max McCoy, Globe staff writer. Eureka Springs, Arkansas. In the shadow of the historic Crescent Hotel, novice dowsers move slowly down a swath of carefully manicured lawn, copper wands twitching in their fists. How deep is the vein? Asked their instructor, Lee Kachadorian. the students believe they have found water, and not just water, but water that is portable, palatable, with a flow of at least 5 gallons per minute at the surface and at a depth of less than 500 feet. At least that's what they've carefully asked their tools to locate. Also called bobbers, the wands are the soul of simplicity. A length of copper wire, a few twists to make a spring joint about a third of the way down, and a wooden handle. The business end bobs, seemingly of its own volition, and answers are deduced according to the direction of the movement. 45 feet, says Ronald Bond, a middle-aged businessman from Texas. 4 of the 7 other students concur, and also agree on the number of veins or underground streams present. 3. Such demonstrations are impressive to watch, but short of tranquilizing the management and digging up the hotel's lawn, there is no practical way to know how accurate the students have been. Cachadorian students are among the 3 dozen who have paid $52 each to attend a day-long beginning dowsing school held in Eureka Springs in conjunction with the Central Conference of the American Society of Dowsers. Despite the work of debunkers like James Randi and others who say dowsing just doesn't work, the non-profit American Society of Dowsers has about 5,000 members and receives hundreds of letters annually from the curious. And although dowsing is an ancient folk tradition usually associated with locating water, adherents claim nothing is beyond their power to locate: oil and gas, missing persons, even treasure. Dowsing also transcends time and distance, they claim, and successful searches can be made using maps alone. But there's a catch. Dowsing only works, they say, when based on a legitimate need to know. Ask questions out of scientific curiosity or basic human greed, and the results are unreliable. Bunk, says Randi, who has a standing offer of $1 million for anyone who can prove paranormal powers under controlled conditions.
Dowsing is self-delusion mostly. It's the ideomotor reaction, and you can look that up in any psychology book. What they are really doing is moving the stick or pendulum or the wires themselves. The reason they find water is because 94% of the Earth's surface has water within a drillable distance.
The real trick, says Randi, would be to find a dry spot. Thirsting for more. The Crescent Hotel is an appropriate location for a dowsing conference that also offered seminars on feng shui, past lives regression, and, quote, clearing non-beneficial thought forms, end quote. Eureka Springs is a curious combination of Victorian charm and New Age hipness, and the 115-year Crescent is alleged to be haunted. Some of the ghosts, the story goes, are the unhappy souls of those who died there while the hotel was a cancer hospital early in its career. A handwritten letter, signed politely, asked dowsers not to clear any, quote, negative energies, end quote, they find in the hotel for fear of driving out the ghosts. Out on the lawn, Cachadorian has steered her charges clear of the north side of the hotel, where many dowsers have detected something noxious. Cachadorian, 61, is an American Society of Dowsers trustee who lives in Woodstock, Vermont. She says she has been dowsing for more than 20 years to locate water, enhance life energies, and solve problems. She agrees with Randi that dowsers unconsciously move their tools themselves, but says it's because they are connected to something greater than themselves.
There's something said in many different religions, including Christianity and Judaism, about asking and you shall find,
Cachadorian said.
This is what dowsing is all about.
Dowsing students are seekers, she says, who thirst for more than water.
They are in the process of realizing there is something beyond themselves that they haven't been able to get in touch with,
she said.
They are looking for something that is missing in their life,
Some are coming for healing purposes, and some want to take control of a particular type of energy. Intent is important, Kachadorian said. And she advises her students to think carefully about the information they request. Not only is the phrasing of the question vital, because the instruments tend to interpret things literally, asking if one's car needs gas invariably results in an affirmative, because all cars need gas, regardless of how much gasoline is in the tank of any particular vehicle. But there are some questions that simply shouldn't be asked. Most of these forbidden areas often involve greed, invasion of privacy, or questions for which the dowser cannot set aside his or her ego. And a brief stop here along the way for me to comment that, really? Well, that all depends on who you ask. Because over the decades and decades that Australian skeptics and other groups have been testing the claims of water diviners and water dowsers, some will say this, some will say something else, some will say, of course, they can be tested for dowsing. It all depends on who you talk to. We read on. She advised her students to begin a session by first dowsing for permission to pursue a particular topic, with a formula summed up by, quote, may I, can I, should I, end quote. If the answer to any of these questions is no, she said, only the foolish would proceed. Kachadorian said she had never met Randy, but that she doubted his assertion that drillable water can be found on 94% of the Earth's surface. Anyone with experience in drilling, she said, knows how difficult it is to place a good well. Also, she said, Randy didn't seem to be a particularly happy person, based on the few times she's seen him on television or in a documentary on dowsing made by her son, George. Given a choice, she said, she'd rather be happy, even if it means believing in something she can't prove. Every human being can dowse. Assuming for a moment that Kachadorian and her fellows in the American Society of Dowsers are right, the question becomes, what makes dowsing work? The American Society of Dowsers is careful to endorse no particular explanation, but individual dowsers have pet theories ranging from guardian angels to unknown electromagnetic forces to what one particular at Eureka Springs called the Big Library in the Sky. During a classroom session earlier in the day on the 4th floor of the Crescent Hotel, questions about what makes dowsing works were discouraged by Tony Geringer, an instructor and avid amateur dowser from Las Cruces, New Mexico. Don't lose sleep over it, he told the students. You don't have to know how an automatic transmission works in order to drive a car. The task for us today is to teach you how to operate this stuff. Every human being can dowse, but most people have never developed it, he said. The students were given an inexpensive set of 4 basic tools: the wand, a ceramic pendulum, a pair of L-shaped copper rods, and a forked stick made from plastic tubing. Geringer told the students not to waste their money on high-priced devices with fancy claims. Some dowsing tools go for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. As long as the material can swing, bob, sway, or bend properly, he said, it doesn't matter what the tool is made of. The important thing is the mind of the dowser. Also, he said, the tools must be programmed to give correct answers by telling them aloud what is expected. A pendulum, for example, is commonly programmed to signal a yes answer by swinging away from the dowser, while the L rods are usually expected to cross. There is more to it, of course. There is also a ready position, a no position, and movements that indicate number and direction. Also, the L rods seem particularly sensitive and will often spin, seemingly with no input from the dowser. Geringer considers himself an expert, but does not charge for his services. I had a bad pork chop. A former magician and escape artist James Randi may be the world's best-known debunker of paranormal and pseudoscientific claims, following in the footsteps of another famous escape artist, Harry Houdini. Randi has exposed spoonbenders, faith healers, and occult hoaxes of all kinds. Since 1996, the James Randi Educational Foundation has offered a $1 million prize to anyone who can show under proper observing conditions evidence of any paranormal, supernatural, or occult power or event. Applicants are asked to perform a simple preliminary test of the claim, and if successful, they will be allowed to take the formal test, which are designed with the participation and approval of the applicant. Though hundreds have applied, nobody has yet passed even the preliminary test.
Dowsing depends on having an unstable system of some kind,
Randi said in a telephone interview this week from the Foundation headquarters in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
You can't possibly keep a pendulum still. The L-shaped rods represent the same phenomenon.
Randi said he had been studying the dowsing since he was 15, and although he has tested dowsers many times around the world under carefully controlled conditions, they have always failed. What sets them apart from the hundreds of others who claim supernatural power that he has tested, Randi said, is that he has discovered only 3 who tried to cheat in some way. All of the others appeared to be sincere.
Now, dowsers are essentially honest folks, and they think they have the power,
Randi said.
Some dowsers came in a couple of weeks ago, and they were tested in one room in the library here, and they failed. Then they always make excuses. I had a bad pork chop. It was too damp. There were negative vibrations.
In Germany, Randi said, he devised a simple test in which dowsers were asked to determine if water was running through a particular pipe or not. Again, he said, they couldn't.
Dowsers need this to be true, because it's the only thing they've got going for them,
he said.
You find these are people who have never been paid much attention to, but at conventions, they're all good old boys, slap each other on the back and have a good time. It's a social club.
But dowsers seem to have won their case in the court of public opinion, Randi said, because dowsing is such a well-known folk tradition. But the evidence cited in favor of dowsing is invariably anecdotal.
Now, we really want someone to show us it works, and we're putting up $1 million for it,
he said.
But they will say this is something that shouldn't be tested, or that they don't want the $1 million. When I say, why don't they give this money to AIDS research or hungry children when they win, they don't have an answer.
James Underdown is the executive director of the Center for Inquiry West in Los Angeles, and he agrees with Randi that although there is no proven scientific for dowsing, it continues to hold a prominent place in the popular imagination.
In the case of dowsing, it goes off in 2 directions.
Underdown said,
One is folklore because the witching stick is an old notion, and the other, which I think the American Dowsing Society takes, is the whole rest of the spectrum, where people feel like they can douse to heal sickness, spiritual energy imbalances, and all these different ideas which are closer to New Age thinking and alternative medicine.
Many of these claims are difficult to test.
But we think it's fair game to say, prove it.
Underdown said,
The onus of proof is on the claimant, especially if you're charging people. That's when it gets into the realm of fraud.
Subtle energies. The students at Eureka Springs, however, didn't seem to need scientific evidence one way or another. Ron Bond, the Woodlands, Texas businessman who helped douse the depth of the water on the lawn of the Crescent Hotel, said he saw
example after example
that dowsing worked and called the conference exceptional.
I attend simply on the recommendation of a friend, and with no previous knowledge, and truly with no expectations,
he said.
One weekend of hands-on experience opened my faculties and confirmed for me the existence of subtle energies existed all around us daily.
Linda J. Cunningham, another of Cachadorian's students, heard about the dowsing school when she attended a feng shui workshop with a friend. Cunningham, an executive with a telecommunications consulting company in Norman, Oklahoma, said her husband had attended an American Society of Dowsers conference last year in Flagstaff, Arizona, and was so impressed he began writing about dowsing. She did not elaborate. Cachadorian and other members of the American Society of Dowsers, meanwhile, are preparing for the 41st annual convention to be held June 14 to 17 on the campus of Linden, Vermont State College. The theme of the convention is Dowsing, a connection to the universe. Cachadorian says she knows that dowsing works, and it is just one of the many things science still doesn't understand. She compared the thinking of Randy and others to the old Newtonian clockwork view of the universe, while dowsing embraces the possibilities and ambiguities inherent in quantum mechanics. But in the end, it comes down to a matter of faith. By the way, Cachadorian said, I don't consider myself a dowser. I just hold the rod. And the next accompanying picture to do with this story is a small group of school kids, Joe Alexander and Ben Caffrey, both 9, from Fayetteville, Arkansas, and Callie Smith, 11, of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, practice their dowsing skills during a workshop for children. There's so much to unpack in that story, there really is, but I don't think I need to go into too many details for you. I think you and I are probably on the same page, where you have a modality, a claim like dowsing, which fails under scientific testing, and the rebuttal is, well, of course it does, it doesn't work under scientific testing. There can't be much more of a red flag than that, really. And like many things that we discover in our adventures, dowsing, water divining is certainly an unsinkable rubber duck. No matter how many times it's deflated, no matter how many times it fails, there will be people, thousands of people, who will believe in it regardless. And again, that story was called Thirst for Wisdom by Max McCoy, Globe staff writer, and that was published on the 13th of May 2001 in the Joplin Globe. And of course you can check out all sorts of things like dowsing and reports on just about any topic you like. Here in Australia, visit Trove at trove.nla.gov.au, but I'm sure no matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to discover a local archive, and I'm sure you'll spend many happy hours there, because you never know what you might find. Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Coming up on next week's show, I hope to bring you a report, some interviews by Susan Gerbeck, who's in fabulous Las Vegas right at the moment, meeting up with all my friends. Oh, I'm so envious. And they've all descended on Las Vegas to wish Ben Radford a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Ben Radford. I know you listen to the show, and I wish I could have been there, but these days, things like that are a little bit more difficult. I miss Las Vegas, but I certainly miss seeing you, Ben, and all my skeptical friends, of course. Maybe one day we'll all get together again. And also coming up on next week's show, a different Trove segment. Next week, it's Adrian Hill. Our wonderful reporter, Adrian Hill, will be taking over the Trove segment next week, and she'll be looking at references to reflexology. And talking about far-fetched alternative medicine, we also have a segment coming up next week about TikTok homeopathy. TikTok homeopathy. There's some words you don't often hear put together. Thank you to those people who continue to support the show via PayPal or Patreon. In a few weeks' time, I'll be making a significant purchase here at the Skeptic Zone for new equipment, which I need. And that is due to one very generous benefactor. And you know who you are, and I thank you very much. I'll be ready to organize that in a couple of weeks, I hope. But in the meantime, everyone's contribution goes a long way here at the Skeptic Zone. It means that you can enjoy the show week after week, and your support means everybody else can also enjoy the show week after week. And I certainly enjoy bringing it to you. But for this week, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Sydney, Australia. You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Please visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for show notes, contacts, and to access the back catalogue of episodes going back to 2008. You can follow the Skeptic Zone podcast on Twitter at Skeptic Zone, visit our Facebook page, or leave a review on iTunes. You can also support the Skeptic Zone via Patreon or PayPal. The Skeptic Zone podcast is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed on the Skeptic Zone are not necessarily those of Australian skeptics or any other skeptical organisation. Hello to everybody who listens after the music for the Easter egg. Normally we roll a die and you guess which number comes up. But a few weeks ago I did a deck of cards and people say they enjoyed that, so I'm going to do it again. In other words, what I'm going to do is shuffle this deck of cards and choose one at random, and, well, we can all guess. I won't even look, actually. I'll just shuffle them face down and I'll guess along with you. So shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Out of 52 cards, what card do you think it is? You can either say red or black, 50-50 shot. You can choose a suit, 1 out of 4, a number, or the whole card in its entirety. Lots of options. So here we go. And you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm much as in the dark as you are. I've stopped. Top card I'm about to turn over. 3 of hearts. Here we go. And it is the 10 of diamonds. I got the colour right. Back it goes into the deck. All right. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And stopping now. Jack of clubs. That's what I'm guessing. And it is the 7 of spades. Okay. Well, I've got 2 colours right so far. 2 colours right. Last one coming up. And I'm going to predict the Queen of Spades. And the card is the King of Diamonds. Don't come with me to a casino, folks.